All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another golf video. We got a major to dive into in today's video, the US Open at Oakmont. Very excited for this. The US Open rolls around every single year, and it's awesome because you get to see some of these guys that are the best in the world, like world-class golfers, right? At times, look like you and me. You know what I mean? They're in the rough. They can't get it out. They're struggling. They're over par. Like, you absolutely love to see it. But yeah, we got a few plays coming your way in today's video. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to the Guy Boston Sports site where I house all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, if you do want to fade me, all of that's going to be free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3, 4. More juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. All right, so the first name that we're going to look at here is going to be, I don't know if I would call this an obvious one, but it's a pretty obvious one. I don't know if there is any such thing as obvious. It's not Scotty. It is going to be Bryson. I like him in the top 5, top 10, depending on the odds you can get. Right now, top 10 looks right around the -110. Top 5 for +160, +170. The things that we like about Bryson here are, well, first and foremost, obviously, a guy that has a couple of these US Opens under his belt. But what I would like to say is off the tee is going to be massively important here. Strokes gained off the tee. Not necessarily just total accuracy, which Bryson isn't always the most accurate guy, but like I mentioned, gaining strokes off the tee. You're going to struggle to find anybody in the field that is, better than at gaining strokes off the tee than Bryson. Maybe you can make the argument Scotty, depending on what sample size or how big that sample size you want to trigger, right? But as of right now, I do think Bryson's the best off the tee. I also like the idea of him scrambling and avoiding some bogeys and then putting. Putting from 5 to 15 feet is going to be massive at Oakmont, and Bryson's the 4th best in the field when it comes to that category. Him playing on live and him being the bomber, a lot of people don't really recognize Bryson's short game. He's been a fantastic putter this year, even on live. He's scrambled really well, so I like the idea of him around the greens. And then the one last note is with this rough and how thick it is and how difficult some of these shots may be. He's got the #1 clubhead speed in the field. So I do think that some of that thick rough may react, or he might react to that a little bit differently in a positive way than some other guys out there. So play number 1, Bryson, top 5, top 10. Again, keep an eye on the final plays. Everything we talk about in the video are spots that I think are valuable, spots that I like. To see what I'm actually rolling with, if I do lock this in, keep an eye on those final plays there. Next up, I think we may be catching him at a good time. Patrick Cantlay here, top 20 or 30 in terms of odds right now. Looks like top 20 is going to be right around +150. Top 30 more in that pick'em type of a price. But why do we like Cantlay? Well, first and foremost, he has some fantastic numbers just in the US Open overall. You don't necessarily think of him as a total package that would kind of combat these tough conditions and long rough and all that. But last 3 US Opens, T14, T14, and T3, obviously at different courses, but he's going to gain some strokes off the field, rank 17th in gain strokes off the tee. He's ranked 17th in the field. Also, strokes approach the green, which is going to be massive here, right? Put it in the fairway and hit these greens. He's top 20. Strokes gained putting, he's 7th, and he's in the top 21, so ranked 21st when it comes to bogey avoidance. So I do like the price behind Cantlay. He's also coming off of a T12, I believe, at the Memorial, so maybe there's a little bit of momentum there. I think he has a top 5 within his last 5 starts too, so let's see him do a little something here. And again, we're not asking for him to go out there and win it or come top 5 or anything like that. Top 20 and 30 I think is very, very fair for Patrick Cantlay. This next one, I don't know if he's either due for some regression or if he's going to keep it up. He's won, came in 2nd, and I believe those are his last 2 starts, if I'm not mistaken, right? Now he's coming into the US Open, which we don't have much to go off of there, but Ben Griffin, number 3 in the field in terms of putting from 5 to 15. We mentioned how that is a popular distance, and when you make those, very, very good situation. He's going to be number 2 in the field when it comes to strokes gained putting, and off the tee, he's actually ranked 12th. So that combination I like. Where do I go a little, where does he go a little wrong, I should say? If he's missing greens. He doesn't have the fastest club head speed. His approach numbers aren't all that fantastic. Now, me saying that, they're not bad. Like, it's not like he's bad in terms of strokes gained on the approach or anything like that, but he's not really in the upper echelon right now. But if you look at his recent rounds, you might be able to make the argument the other way, right? He's actually been green in three straight starts there, which, again, his last 3 starts. T8 at the PGA, at the Charles Schwab, he won it, and then Memorial came in second. Ben Griffin's kind of on a heater right now. What I don't necessarily love is the idea of him scrambling. Again, missing greens could lead to some issues here, but for top 30, getting near even odds, I like Ben Griffin. We'll go over some of our matchup guys, but Ben Griffin's probably going to be a guy that I like within the matchups as well. Any of the guys we talk about when we're highlighting here, I do like them as matchups as well, depending on who they go up against, but we'll get to that a little bit later in the video. So yeah, Ben Griffin, top 30, I think has some value here. All right, guys, if you've been enjoying the show and enjoying the content, make sure to go ahead and support us by picking up some merch. This is legit quality product. I hate even calling it merch because I do believe it is more like apparel or clothing. Merch kind of has like a bad connotation to it. At least that's what I think. But we do have the Gambler Fall 2024 golf rope hat here. We have the They Don't Boo Nobodies tee, which has a back design. Check it out, fademe.store. You'll see it. But yeah, head over to fademe.store or guybostonsports.com/store to pick up some merch. You guys will see all the cool stuff we have there. And again, this is legitimate quality stuff. It's not going to go and peel or shrink in your wash right away. We put a lot of time and effort into sourcing and sampling this stuff, so go ahead and check it out. Again, fademe.store or guybostonsports.com/store. Consider supporting us today and getting some great merch at the same time. Next up, I guess we have another guy that's coming in on a little bit of a heater, right? Sam Burns. What can we say about him? He's going to be putting really well. He's the number 1 guy in the field in terms of that distance that we like to pick at as well. That's really what we're highlighting, but obviously coming off of a really good week there at the Canadian, the Memorial looked good as well. The PGA top 20. Last year at the US Open, top 10. He's gone T32 and T27 years prior. So to be able to get him at top 40, I like this spot. The reason I don't want to go top 30 is because, and we might go top 30. I'm saying as of right now, why we have him designated for top 40. He doesn't do anything like Ben Griffin in that same category. Good putter and all this, right? At least Ben Griffin had the off the tee numbers. Sam Burns really doesn't. If Sam Burns is having a wild time off the tee, landing in that rough, how much is his putting going to matter, right? So when we weigh a guy because of his putting, I don't want to go and put every stock into that because you need to get to the green to be able to putt. And that's somewhat of what I worry about with him. But again, he's hitting the ball really well, looking very good in terms of off the tee. Gained 8 at the PGA, gained 5.5. Gained 2 at the Canadian, gained 1 at the Memorial, did actually lose at the PGA. So, overall, last 2 weeks have been good for him. But if he gets to the green and is able to putt well, I think this could be a nice little spot for Sam Burns ultimately, much like we talked about with Harris English. Kind of a cozy... Ben Griffin. Harris English coming up. Spoiler alert. Much like a Harris English or Ben Griffin, or kind of like a cozy sort of top 40. I'm not asking Sam Burns to do anything too crazy. You know what I mean? All right. Leaked it. Harris English also top 40. What I'm liking about him is sort of the consistency. He's going to be accurate off the tee, which is amazing in terms of missing this rough and being in the fairway, right? Top 25 in terms of this field when it comes to hit fairway percentage. Off the tee, 14th. Bogey avoidance, 21st. And then strokes gained putting, 8th. Is he fantastic from the 15 to 5 feet? Not necessarily. Is he fantastic scrambling? Is he fantastic approach? Is he fantastic around the green? No, I can't necessarily give you that. But I do like the idea of him being able to putt and hit fairways and gain some strokes, on the tee, or off the tee, I should say, and on the green. So that's why we like Harris English. Again, we're not asking for anything crazy here. This is a top 40, and if we want to get crazy, maybe a top 30 play. But some of these top 40 guys may be perfect in some matchup situations. Another guy I do really like this week, and I'm kind of loving the odds right now. The fact you can get Daniel Berger top 40 for Pick'em and then plus 135 here at the top 30, he's going to do a lot of what we're looking for. The approaches should be good. Approaches from rough, very good, and it's specific to Ryan Bluegrass, what we'll see. But off the tee, I'm impressed by. Hitting fairways, I'm impressed by. Scrambling, he's top 30 in the field. The only concern I have here is that, has he been playing the best golf? That's going to be a negative Ghost Rider. 2 straight missed cuts from him. Last time he did play US Open, obviously different course, T21, which is good, I guess, but we want him to kind of start getting this into gear. And all these numbers that I'm talking about, I should have mentioned this earlier in the video, ranked towards the field, top 10, blah, blah, blah. Last 16 rounds included. So it's very recent in the world of golf. But I like Daniel Berger here. Nice cushiony top 40. I think he could be a sneaky matchup play as well, which I got to stop saying that because everyone that we do like in matchups. It's just dependent on, it's too early in the week to see what the matchups are. Probably come out and, actually probably by the end of today. You guys will be watching this a couple days later though. So yeah, Daniel Berger top 40, but also in some matchups. All right, just a couple specifics, and then we're going to go into the matchup. So I guess the last one that we do want to talk about is going to be Siwoo Kim, also top 40. You might be asking yourself, Ev, why are you going with these mid-tier guys, top 40 and all that? I'm struggling to find the true value at the top of the leaderboard. You look at guys like Scotty, Bryson, Rahm. Rahm is someone that I like, so I guess we could expect him. I didn't do a deep dive on him yet though. But Rory, Xander, some of these guys either check a box that I don't really love in terms of like Rahm, Rory, and Schauffele. Yeah, they're all like pretty damn bad in terms of fairway percentage. And if you're going to be in the rough, sure, you could be some of the world-class players in the world, but this is not a course or a type tournament that you want to go out there and mess up and hit it in the deep rough constantly, right? So I do like kind of finding, like I said, these cushiony spots, and Siwoo is definitely going to be a guy that kind of fits into that for me. Scrambling 12th, bogey avoidance 14th, putting from 5 to 15, 16th. Yes, off the tee, maybe he's not going to gain too much, but ultimately, he's not looked all that terrible. He is coming off a T31, but before that, top 30, top 10, top 15, and he's been finishing in the top 40 over his last 2 U.S. Opens. So is he a grinder? We shall see. Is he going to be able to keep it in the fairway? We shall see. But I do like him. The closer you get to the green, he's going to avoid the bogey. He's going to scramble and make some of those tough putts that you need to make in this case. So I like Siwoo there. And now it's just going to go over a couple more names. I just have the images here of some of their faces. Who haven't we talked about? Jon Rahm is definitely one that I would consider there. Corey Connors, another name. He's in the bottom middle there in the third row. I do like him. He's been playing fantastic this season. And also, you look at his U.S. Open history, like he is coming off of a top 10 in the most recent one. Prior to that, maybe I'm being a little exaggeratory, being like he's coming off of a good one. He did come off a good one, missed 3 straight cuts prior to, but obviously we've seen different Corey Connors this year. Taylor Pendrith is also another name that I'm liking. I think that he's going to gain strokes off the tee. He's been very good at that. Maybe a little bit, he's had some woes in terms of off the tee, but when he is on, that is really where he's going to make his hay. And I think that could be a spot for him to be, gaining those strokes here. That's kind of the fast track to being in the mix. Another name that we didn't really mention that is pictured here is going to be Gary Woodland, obviously former U.S. Open winner. A lot has happened to him. I do like where his game's at. It's just been a little bit sporadic, and I don't know if sporadic is always great when it comes to, some of these. I don't even know if we actually have Gary Woodland's picture there, so apologies if that's the case. Sporadic isn't always good, but at the same time, you could kind of sit there and be like, well, what if he is on? No better tournament to do this, right? When he's going to be able to scramble, he's going to be able to hit the approaches, should be able to putt well as well. And then last, I think this is the only name that we haven't mentioned yet that we do like that I have noted, would be Mark Hubbard. This is a guy that is like, I don't even know what he is to win it, probably like plus 440,000. But I like him maybe in some matchups, but also a sneaky top 40 play for almost plus 200. Scrambling and bogey avoidance are massive on this course. They're massive in U.S. Opens. He's actually fantastic at those, and he's very good out of the rough, whether it's approach or around the green. So I kind of like the idea of Mark Hubbard as a sneaky top 40 play as well. So that is going to wrap it up, guys. That is what we have so far for the U.S. Open. Very, very excited for this one. Like I said, I love watching U.S. Opens from the selfish standpoint of being like, wow, that guy who's a plus $1 million handicap compared to me, which I'm sitting right around a 7 right now. That guy just made a shot like I hit. Jeez, I love to see that. You know what I mean? You see Bryson can't get out of the rough. The strongest guy on tour can't, I love seeing that stuff, and I love how hard they make this. I know I've seen on Twitter being like, oh, what's the point? They make it too hard. This isn't a good spectacle. I want to see you guys go low. You got all the other tournaments pretty much to do that. You know what I mean? Let's make it hard on these guys every once in a while. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for the U.S. Open video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. Go ahead and comment 14 if you made it this far into the video. I know these golf videos don't get as many views as our NBA, MLB, NFL, anything like that, but I absolutely love golf. I love betting golf, love playing golf, and love doing these things. So that little niche audience that we have, if you're watching this and you enjoyed it, you watched it all the way through, consider yourself like part of a pretty cool little exclusive club that I'm definitely recognizing. Really do appreciate the support. Catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.